This is the story of my wife and I. A story of love, pain, and the lessons life forced us to learn. After 10 years of marriage, I came home one night and my wife had already made dinner. The smell of warm food filled the house. She smiled faintly, though her eyes looked tired. I sat down, held her hand, and whispered, "Miriam, I need to tell you something." Her hand trembled in mine. I could see fear in her eyes, but I forced the words out. I want a divorce. The room went silent. The sound of the clock ticking was louder than my heartbeat. She finally spoke, her voice breaking. "Why, Daniel? What did I do wrong?" I avoided her eyes. I had no answer, because the truth was that my heart was already with Clara. Her hand shook violently. Then, with anger boiling, she threw down her chopsticks and shouted, "You are not a man." That night, we shared the same bed, but a wide ocean of silence separated us. I heard her muffled sobs. My heart knew the truth. She longed for answers, but I gave her none. I only stared at the ceiling, wishing the night would pass quickly. The next morning, guilt weighed heavily on me. I drafted a divorce agreement. She could keep our house, our car, even 30% of my company. I thought it was enough. When I handed her the papers, Miriam glanced at them briefly, then ripped them into pieces with trembling hands. Her voice broke as she cried out, "10 years of my life, Daniel. 10 years. And you reduce it to a paper?" Her tears flowed endlessly that night. For weeks, the idea of divorce had consumed me, and now it felt clearer than ever. The following night, I returned home late. Miriam was still at the dining table, writing something under the dim light. I was too tired to ask, so I went to bed. When I woke up, she was still writing. In the morning, she handed me a letter. Her divorce conditions. She wanted nothing from me. No house, no money. Only one request, that we wait a month before separating, for Joshua's sake. Our son had exams soon and she didn't want to disturb his peace. I nodded quickly. It seemed reasonable. But then came her second request. She looked me straight in the eye and said, "Do you remember how you carried me into our home on our wedding day? I want you to carry me every morning, from our bedroom to the front door, for the next month." I laughed bitterly inside. What a strange request, but to make her final days easier, I agreed. The first morning felt strange. I held her stiffly, awkwardly, like a stranger. Joshua clapped his hands excitedly. "Daddy is holding Mommy!" His innocent laughter cut deep into my heart. Miriam whispered into my chest, "Don't tell him about the divorce, please." I nodded. My throat was tight, but I said nothing. I carried her out to the door, set her down gently, and she walked away to catch her bus. Alone, I drove to the office, guilt gnawing at me. On the second day, she leaned her head gently on my chest. I caught the soft fragrance of her blouse. For the first time in years, I truly noticed her again. Her hair had strands of gray. Wrinkles touched the corners of her eyes. This was the woman who had given me her youth, her laughter, her best years, and I had abandoned her. By the fourth day, I felt something inside me stir. By the fifth, I found myself looking forward to holding her. By the sixth day, I realized our intimacy had never really died. I just hadn't seen her. One morning, Miriam tried on several dresses. None seemed to fit. Finally, she sighed. "All my dresses are too big now." My heart sank. I suddenly realized why she felt lighter in my arms. She was growing thinner. I reached out, touched her head gently, fighting the lump in my throat. At that moment, Joshua burst in with a smile. "Dad, it's time to carry Mom." To him, this had become a daily ritual, and to me, it had become the reminder of everything I had nearly thrown away. On the last morning, I carried her in my arms, but my legs felt heavy. Tears burned my eyes. I whispered to her, "I see now. Our life lacked intimacy, not love." Later, I drove straight to Clara. I looked into her eyes and said firmly, "I cannot divorce Miriam. I will carry her until death do us apart." Clara's face twisted with anger. She slapped me across the face. "You'll regret this," she shouted, slamming the door. But my heart was free. On my way home, I stopped at a flower shop. I ordered roses. The young lady at the counter smiled and asked, "What should I write on the card?" I smiled and replied, "Write this: I'll carry you out every morning until death do us apart." That evening, I ran upstairs with flowers in hand, my heart filled with hope. But when I opened the door, Miriam was lying peacefully on the bed. Her hands rested softly on her chest. She was gone. Only then did I learn the truth. She had been battling cancer quietly for months. She never told me. Instead, she gave me back love, dignity, and the memory of being a husband in our son's eyes. Happiness is not in houses, cars, or money. Happiness is in the little details, the gentle touches, the shared laughter, the small acts of love. Cherish your spouse. Hold them close, because tomorrow is never promised.